Okay, so this is JIGS Go TV news for the 7th of June. As is often the case, I suppose, in Go associations across the world, we are very amateurish, so there was a bit of a miscommunication, but today I will not have beautiful slides as always, but I will try my best to give you some interesting news and show you a couple of interesting games. So for Asia, today we will look at the third game from the Honindobo title match between Shibano Toramaru and Yama Yuta. And for Euro, and of course we will look for the international section, we will look at the Globus Cup game between Wang Qinghao and Tu Xiaoyu, which was also quite an interesting and close match. The stash games we will probably review next week, I suppose, and then maybe go through a couple of them. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And of course, we will talk about that as well, about the results of the WAGC so far, the World Amateur Go Championship. And yeah, that's basically what we're gonna do. So let's look into the first game of the match between Toramaru and Mr. Yuta, or Mr. Yama, I suppose. Actually. Okay. Okay, so basically they started quite commonly, black setup on the right side, white setup on the left side, black pincers, and white attacks the group. Black goes away. And so white now has this fierce attack, which I think is quite beautiful, to go in between the stones and to start attacking both sides essentially. And the connection is somewhat difficult, because if you connect, then you definitely give up this stone. So what he does instead is, what Shibano does instead is, he lets white move in between his stones, which is very unusual. This is like something that only pros and weak amateurs are allowed to do, like half-witted 5-dans and above are not allowed to do this. It's quite interesting how these rules often apply only to the middle of the pack, I suppose. But he does this to create the moyo on the right side, so that's kind of beautiful. And Yama defends his corner, and Shibano black defends his group and the middle strength. So now Yama goes for the invasion immediately with some interesting exchanges, and now fancy exchange. This exchange definitely hurts the corner a little bit in the start, but the idea is that you want to get this one in center so you can attack these two black stones very fiercely. So black defends them, and now white hanes once and then pushes to increase pressure on this side, which black defends. And white now makes a very fancy move that you should all keep in mind, is sometimes useful. Which is to just cut here. No, he first hammers here, okay. He harnessed there first and then to just cut here. Wow, crazy. So he lets his opponent capture. Excuse me. He lets his opponent capture, but he can move through. And now you can see that that black kind of needs to defend against the Atari to not have a bad shape. So he does. But because of that, white can also capture the right side. So he gave a lot in the middle, but also he gained the corner from black. So very, very interesting. Here he plays a very Japanese move, which is this one, which to my mind is very intriguing. It seems very Japanese. Like yeah, my mind would definitely go for something more active, but yeah, it's interesting. So here now my mind would go for something much more like just moving the stone and then maybe later reducing the middle territory. But here Yama, like he did so often in this series so far, like also in this game, right? He immediately goes for the invasion and everything, immediately fight. He does this in this series all the time. He of course goes for another fight with this move. And black, of course, answers with equivalent force at least with this beautiful move. But now white changes direction for a second to grab the corner. And black takes this opportunity to seize the middle completely. Like, yeah, this is a very common move nowadays to really increase the scope of whatever area you're trying to seize. And so that's what Shibano is trying to do. Now white moves out and Shibano goes for the fiercest attack, cutting immediately. White tries his best to move out and to wiggle his way out. And quite a good try. This is a beautiful shape move because even if white cuts here, you can kind of cover it beautifully. So yeah, this is also definitely something to keep in mind. And this one is also something to keep in mind. It's a very interesting looking move. And if black does what black did in the game, then you get this exchange, which is beautiful. But maybe most people would take the stone, but not Shibano. He defended here, which really is going for the kill very fiercely. And unfortunately for Yama, just a few moves later of nothing much happening, white is completely dead. With this huge dragon, white is just simply dead. And so Shibano now leads the series 2-1. So yeah, I'm definitely interested to see what is gonna happen in the next games. So yes, now it's 2-1. Shibano, by the way, managed to get 6 wins in the league to qualify for this match, where a lot of people like Kyo Kagen, a name I didn't see very often recently, he managed also to get 5 wins. So yeah, very, very interesting to see what will happen in the Japanese leagues going forward. There was also the Globus Cup this year, once again. A tournament between under 20 youth. For Europe, as far as I know, Oscar Vasquez played. And we're gonna look into the final, where unfortunately Oscar didn't reach. But 2 very formidable people did reach the final. And so we're gonna look into into their game. So this is Wang Qinghao 6 done and Tu Xiaoyu 6 done, both from China, I suppose, maybe Taiwan. But both have played very great games up to this point as well. Like I like many of the games, and this one as well. So let's look into it. So again, quite a normal start with this kind of joseki that many strong amateurs and professionals played for the last 2 years or 3 in almost every game. So probably you're familiar with it. And then white decided to split the side here to maybe decrease moyo potential for black a little bit. That's an interesting choice. And here is an important decision whether you go for this one or this one or this one, because it will really decide what type of game you have. Like if you go for connect or for the tiger's mouth, then maybe not this one, something like this, you will make a wall to face to the top and try to fight moyo against moyo. And if you go for the one white used in the game to played in the game to maybe use his stone on the Hoshi, you go into a bit more territorial based game. So that's what he did, and black took Sansan in the top left and white got out. And this I find is a really beautiful move. Like, yeah, when I saw it I thought it's really great. It's like between the two spheres, and it's also looking for the white stone to go out and to attack the 3 black stones, or the 4 you could say. Black ignored it or not ignored it, he went to decrease the stability of the moyo and look for the cut, look for the jump, and like there's many follow-up moves. So it's a very flexible move to play. Always this kind of peep it's very common in a moyo situation that you use this peep to suppress the moyo a little bit. White anyway went ahead and moved out with his stones to attack these 3 stones. So he didn't care about his moyo maybe being broken up a little bit, because this attack is quite fierce, so he probably has the time to do it. And after a few exchanges, black comes back to defend his cutting point, and white needs to defend anyway, and black continues attacking. Here, probably this is maybe a bit much, because this way you force white to live inside. And maybe what you can do instead is to take your territory and then go out with your group and attack the group a bit further to maybe use your strength a bit more. The advantage of this is that white doesn't move out, so you can actually make territory here, but you lose the territory here. But both are definitely feasible options. So white now makes a few exchanges. This is actually a beautiful exchange. Like what many people might do is to first push here, but actually you just need to come back still, and this for this exchange is probably not a good one, because in the game you can still jump in, right? So very important to see what kind of the end position of a given exchange is, to see if you really want to do it. This is a beautiful move, of course, a very flexible move, and if black cuts here, then white can get inside the territory a bit further. Though maybe black should do this because it also limits the eye space of white, and white still needs to care about his life. And also the territory of black here is increased by an important margin. Because here white can still jump in and also white is alive. But definitely a close call between the two moves and probably a difficult decision. So here black moves out on the left side and we have a big starting point for a few fights on the left. So white blocked, black needed to defend the corner, and now white tries to seize this side again. So black, of course, goes against that and says, no, I'm trying to lower your chances to do there what you want. And also tries to grasp a little bit of the points white has on the bottom. So white makes a few exchanges in the lower corner and now is alive, but black gained a substantial margin here. Now his moyo actually looks kind of big, so not too bad. White attacks the black stones, and after a lot of exchanges for upper side endgame moves, white also gained an endgame move in the middle to almost capture these stones. Black took another move in the center, and white managed to solidify his grasp on these stones. For that, black took the flow to the upper side, and yeah, now it's a very close game and basically just end game. And in the end, white won by time, and it was a very, very close game. Like it would have been half-point game probably in either direction. And yeah, I really like the flow of this game because it's it's one of these games where it's sweet how the people change from one direction to another and exchange blows. I think that was nice. Like especially the end game moves at the top. Like many people my level, or definitely me, for sure me, we will not be smart enough to not answer our opponent and take a different area. But white managed to let black in the top, but take the middle for it. So I thought that was also a very beautiful game. Okay. And so that meant that Wang Xinghao managed to win this year's Globus Cup under 20. So congratulations on that. I think it's beautiful to have these youth tournaments. It's always a pleasure. I hope next year they will be in person again, of course. But yes, that's what we have right now. So for the WAGC, I will have a short video to show you. Chop, chop, chop.
아마추어 바둑 선수권전은 전 세계 아마추어 선수들이 각 나라를 대표하여 참가하는 가장 큰 대회 중 하나입니다.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I think that's beautiful. Would really like to be there, so maybe I need to be a bit of a better German player next year to participate again. But the person who is normally doing this show, Stanislav Feriak, is doing very, very well. He's actually... I need to change the size a little bit. Chup, chup, chup. Yeah, the size is pretty big. Okay. He's actually at the top of the standing right now. So this is a standing of the WAGC right now, with Chani Tian from Taiwan at the top, and Stanislav in place second, and he won not only against China, which is of course already very historic, but he also won against number 11 Japan. So yeah, we're in interesting times, because also if you see Benjamin Dranganizier, which is probably a very butchered attempt of pronouncing his name, also beat Japan. And yeah, so maybe let's wait a few more years, and then maybe we can say the gap has closed. I mean, probably not. Probably 100 more years. But it's at least very, very inspiring to see that these results now start coming in, maybe. I mean, maybe it's just the fault of Internet Go and anything, but definitely we're gonna look at the games of Stanislav next time to show you how Europe might be able to get into the big league. I don't know. Anyway, it's quite interesting, and of course we are still rooting for him to get number one, or to stay where he's at. Beautiful. And going forward, we're also gonna look at the solutions to last week's problems. I hope this is visible. Dun, 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 dun. Sorry for the technical difficulties again. It's I'm trying my best. Okay, so yes. So unfortunately this time I cannot say who managed these problems. No, these are actually from last week. Okay, so let's instead then look at one of my favorite problems, which is this one. And I think this is a really great problem to show players of any strength. Like maybe I'm just bad, I don't know, but it's yeah, it would have defeated the purpose if those are the answers to this week's problems. Exactly. I mean, then what would we do? Okay, so no, but it's also not from last week's problems. It's from 2 weeks ago. That's what I mean. This is very interesting because it's a problem where I showed this to some very weak people and they managed to solve it. And I still remember when I was like 6 done or something still, or 5 done, whatever. I didn't solve this. Like, I mean, I didn't took like hours or something, but it was very difficult for me to solve this. Like I found like first I found a code and I found a 1000-step code, but I didn't find the solution. So yeah, it's a beautiful problem. I will give you a minute to think for yourself, and then I'm gonna show you the I don't know, maybe counterintuitive, maybe not answer. Okay, so what you do here is you start with this beautiful shape with the empty triangle, and then black will honey. And you're always like, in this kind of problem, you always want to throw in and stuff, but no, don't do that. What you do here is just you extend, and now there's this beautiful move. And if black doesn't connect but play here, you can cut and make two eyes that way. But here, you create a seki. So yeah, I find that pretty beautiful, because you want to do something like this, do a ko, or you start with this move, and then you play here. No, you start with this move, then Hane here, and then play like this, and then it's a 1000-step ko, which is already not too bad, but you can make seki. So that's beautiful. Okay, and for the last thing to look at today, I had one more thing, but I think I don't find it anymore. So I'm gonna say good luck to Stanislav for creating the European miracle and becoming first place. And of course, good luck to Shibano and Yama for the remainder of the Honinbo title match games, which are always very fascinating to look at. And I wish you all to remember that even Nelson Mandela said, there's never black or white, except ghost stones. Goodbye, everyone, and see you next week, hopefully with our beautiful slides again. And bye.